Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to discuss the CE-5 protocols and the CE-5 film that is due for release in April 2020. This is a subject that is too far down the rabbit hole of ufology for some, but let's take it step by step and see what we find. Before I begin, for the benefit of those who have never heard of them, here is a brief explanation of the terminology. The CE in CE-5 stands for Close Encounters. In ufology, a close encounter is an incident in which an individual or group sees or experiences a UFO. The term was first suggested by the UFO investigator J Allen Hynek in his book The UFO Experience, A Scientific Inquiry, published in 1972. The term became widely known during the success of Steven Spielberg's 1977 film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, in which Hynek had a cameo appearance. And the French investigator depicted in that film was based upon the scientist and UFO researcher Jacques Vallée. Close encounters of the first kind refer to visual sightings of a UFO that is in close proximity. Close encounters of the second kind are those near sightings that include some kind of physical evidence of the craft's appearance. Close encounters of the third kind are those in which a being or occupant is present. Close encounters of the fourth kind are those, according to Hynek, which involve abduction by extraterrestrials, but Vallée argued that they should include non-abduction cases in which the witnesses experienced some kind of change of consciousness. Close encounters of the fifth kind is a category suggested by Dr. Stephen M. Greer, founder of the CSETI and Disclosure projects. These are human-initiated encounters with extraterrestrials. That's a short sentence for a concept that is a big stretch of the imagination, and for some it's a stretch too far. It's one thing to acknowledge that Top Gun US Navy pilots have witnessed UFOs that could be technology developed in USAPs, unacknowledged special access projects, evidence of a leapfrog in technology by a foreign power, interdimensional or extraterrestrial flying objects, or even something that originates from deep within our oceans. But for some people, it's just too mind-boggling to suggest that human beings can initiate contact with the intelligences flying these things, and not only make contact, but provoke a response that can be captured on film. And yet, that is precisely what those using the CE-5 protocols claim to be doing. For several years, since Greer first published details of his methods and produced an app, meditations, and other tools for those who want to attempt contact themselves, groups and individuals have been going out into the countryside or the desert with the express purpose of making contact with extraterrestrials. Greer's view is that we cannot rely on our governments, and certainly not the military-industrial complex, to tell the truth about extraterrestrial visitors. Instead, the power to make contact and learn the truth lies within the power of ordinary people. Dr. Greer asserts that we have the means to make contact, to show our peaceful intentions, and bypass those who seek to maintain the militarized, oil-based status quo. The CE-5 film, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, Contact, Consciousness, and the Human Future, will be released in April 2020. The film will explore these ideas in detail and will contain clips of CE-5 groups and the UFOs that have appeared as a result of their efforts. The methods used to initiate contact are not complicated and can be learnt by anyone. The first step is to get outside, preferably well away from the distractions and light pollution of urban areas, and into locations in which the night sky can be seen in all its glory. Ideally, you should be somewhere in which you can see and identify constellations. Obviously, weather is a factor, and a clear night with zero or light winds is best. The weather doesn't have to be warm, just as long as you are comfortable and warm when standing or seated. You should also equip yourself with the knowledge, or just some apps, that can identify all the astronomical bodies and any spacecraft, satellites or space junk that might pass overhead. You then have to get into a state of meditation, and once you've achieved this, you have to use the power of your imagination to signal your intent to make contact. If you're successful, you will see lights in the sky that move in ways that are totally unlike any other. These lights may vary in brightness and appear to signal to you. For more details, see seriousdisclosure.com/apps, where you can download the app that is designed to teach this contact method. I realize by now I've probably lost some people who think this idea is beyond the limits of what they believe to be possible. And I can understand why, since it involves making several leaps of acceptance. First, it assumes that extraterrestrials are real. Second, it assumes that human consciousness can be used as a tool for communication. Third, it assumes that the ETs are open to such approaches and willing to respond. Fourth, it assumes that filmed and photographed evidence of their responses is real and not the mistaken identity of something else. Dr. Greer has his critics, some of whom have criticized the fees he charges for those who join him for CE-5 excursions into the desert. But he's freely provided the app and other material and encouraged people to find out for themselves. Anyone who wants to join him can pay the fee of their own free will. Others simply organize their own excursions or carry out communication attempts on their own. Another aspect of these activities is the fact that it's a subject that can attract those who are too easily beguiled by the glamour and excitement of the idea. So much so that they are too ready to believe anything without question, and it can lead to an almost quasi-religious or cult-like following of anything to do with UFOs and ETs. This attitude is not only off-putting to others who may be drawn to the subject, but also a form of imbalance. If we are to upgrade humanity from a state of near barbarism to a new level of higher consciousness in which we openly communicate with ETs who are far more advanced than us, then we are also going to have to enter a new level of intellectual and emotional maturity. That involves maintaining an inquiring mind that is open to all possibilities, no matter how extraordinary, but which doesn't blindly accept anything and everything just because it's out of the ordinary. If the CE-5 protocols don't work, then the worst that can happen is that you spend a few hours outdoors enjoying some stargazing, alone or with a group of like-minded people. If the CE-5 protocols do work, then you could be participating in something that is not only life-enhancing for you personally, but which adds to the collective transformation of humanity. In all the years of UFO activity, human beings have been passive participants. No one knows when or where they'll appear, or what they'll do. The CE-5 protocols provide a means for the ordinary citizens of planet Earth to reach out, beyond rules and regulations, beyond norms and conventions, into the great beyond. If these calls are answered, then links are formed, which create a network of communication that is outside the control of our governments. Make of it what you will. Thanks for staying with me this far. If you have used these methods, then please post a comment below with any experiences you would like to share. And if you have an opinion on this subject, then please share that too.